What golden nugget of information do you have to share? A scorpion can hold its breath for 6 days. So don't think drowning it will help you out of your scorpion problem. I can attest to this. When I was a young lad, my father brought a scorpion home from a mission trip as a sort of spooky gift for me. The thing was fully submerged in alcohol and lived for probably 5 or 6 days. It freaked me out so much to think it was watching me while I slept that I threw it away, jar and all. Duck scorpions. Even if you aren't willing to give mouth to mouth on an unconscious person, chest compressions alone greatly increase their odds of survival. In case others wondered why, the circulatory system will still have trace amounts of oxygen that can be circulated to the brain via compression, which can make the difference. Edit. A few have mentioned that a non-insignificant amount of oxygenated blood can be present at moment of arrest, a stronger case for compressions. If bees were paid the minimum wage, a jar of honey would cost about $200. 000. Edit. Wow. My first gold. First awards, actually. Thank you, kind Redditor. I love this one for some reason. Semen washes off best with cool water. Using hot water can cause the proteins to denature and makes it stickier. So for all of you who fap in the shower, this is why your jizz turns into the sticky / slightly more firm wad of super glue stuck to your hand when you try to rinse it off. Foreign garment to be labeled made in USA, the process only needs to be started and finished in America. In the case of a certain ladies underwear line, the material is cut in USA, shipped overseas for assembly, then shipped back to America, where a seamstress sews a made in USA tag on the item. Source / underwear factory worker. It's crazy how it's cheaper to send clothing across the world to be assembled than it is to just do it domestically. A moose can run 40 miles per hour through 6-foot deep snow. Terrifying. The first president of Zimbabwe was President Banana. It was also illegal to joke about his name in Zimbabwe, so the foreign press used to joke about his name more. When choking on food and can't get help, you can get into a push-up position and then just drop down. The ground hitting your stomach and chest will cause what you're choking on to dislodge. Edit. Someone has commented to explain that this was created by a fireman, not something that firemen necessarily do. Edit. Thanks for the gold. Edit. You can also dislodge by jabbing the back end of a chair into your stomach. Please look in the comments for more info. There's a video I saw of a guy doing this move, and then, completely serious, he said if you're pregnant, you cannot do this, and I bursted out laughing. Now I will always remember how to save myself if I'm choking. I had a heart transplant 5 years ago. When your heart is replaced, the surgeon has to cut the main nerve that gets the signal from the brain to beat, and or increase the intensity of the beat. Without this vagus nerve, your new heart has no regulation and pumps blood out of habit. You no longer have a fight or flight response and your new heart beats at 90+ beats a minute. The vagus nerve slows the heart. Epinephrine in your bloodstream, released from your adrenal glands in a fight or flight situation, can still speed it up, though. Also, congratulations on your new heart. I hope you have a great life. Speaking of golden nuggets of information to share, goldfish lose their color if they are kept in dim light or are placed in a body of running water, such as a stream. Also, goldfish actually get very large and live for a very long time, but most people don't care for them properly and end up suffocating them in ammonia. There are about 60,000 characters in the Mandarin language. A very literate person will know 20,000. The average person from 5,000 to 10,000. If uneducated, around 3,000. I met a German girl who had studied Mandarin in university. She said she knew about 6,000 characters, which was about enough for her to read the newspaper. The main reason we stop doing something we love is because we forget our love of doing it for enjoyment's sake and replace it with a desire to be good at it. You've inspired me. I should go tune up my guitar and get back to playing. I enjoyed it. I was decent, and I should enjoy being decent at it rather than good or great. Horses have a mild blind spot on the front and back of their body. If you are ever around a tame horse, Keep a hand on their body while walking around them. This lets it know where you are at all times and decreases chances of kicking out of shock or fear. This also prevents them from kicking you with as much force. You need to stay very close to them for the full benefit. This is similar with goats, as they instinctively fight things coming head on and should be approached from the sides. Also, ears are the gateway to a horse's feelings. Pinned back ears indicates an anxious or angered horse. Pinned straight up indicates curiosity and focus. Saw a 3-year-old at my barn ignore this rule and run up behind a horse screaming. The horse was pissed, but he didn't kick. If he had, well, that'd be some mess to clean up. Artillery was responsible for over 70% of combat casualties in both world wars. And 4% of the sand on the beaches of Normandy are still made up of shrapnel. Wikipedia. Each one of the Yamato-class battleship's main gun turrets weighed over 3,000 tons, heavier than the average US destroyer. If you were on a destroyer in the US Navy during WWII, you ran the risk of having to fight a ship whose primary weapons alone displace more weight than your entire vessel. And the reason for this is that the Japanese Navy had heavy restrictions from the West on how big their navy could be before the start of WW2. So to compensate for this, they built the biggest battleships the world had ever seen. Gary Norman is 13 days older than Gary Oldman. This reminds me of a Norm Macdonald bit on Conan. The earth wobbles really slowly like a spinning top. It takes about 26,000 years to come full circle. In the process, the northern star changes. This is called precession. It's one of 3 major changes in Earth's movements which are a part of the Milankovitch cycle. Precession occurs 26,000 years, eccentricity occurs 125,000 years, obliquity occurs 41,000 years. These cycles all have effects on Earth's climate. For more information, just search Milankovitch cycles. If you see a job you really want, but aren't quite qualified for, apply anyway. Don't tell yourself no, make them tell you no. You might be pleasantly surprised. Both my son and daughter followed this advice and got a job that turned into a career. As a manager who hires people, yes, apply for everything you're reasonably competent for, even if you can't check all the boxes. Most of what I look for is experience and practical application of knowledge, skills, and tools. Even so, I'm aware that many aspects can be taught easily and quickly. We are also looking for general intelligence and character, good mindset and work ethic. I manage the engineering department at my company. Even people applying for design, manufacturing, QC, or whatever we happen to be looking for generally are not applying with the specific degree. There's a ton of overlap. Heck, what I even went to school for, I've barely used, not have really been hired on specially for. Airline ops guy here. If you check in a bag at an airport with an hour or less before departure, it has a 50/50 shot of making it on a plane. Just like that saline, bag security can back up too. I regularly see 30+ minute in screening statuses on bags. Then, it may be pulled for a hand screening and search. This is random and SA doesn't care when the flight leaves. So now we are at about 25 minutes to departure and your bag has only just now entered the sort system. It will take another 5 to 10 minutes to sort out to the person who loads carts with bags. Here, the problem is that there may be 7 to 10 other flights coming off of the same conveyor belt. They have to see your bag's tag out of maybe 50 other bags. So let's assume another 5 minutes. Your flight's bag cart was delivered plane side at an hour before departure. It is now 15 minutes to departure. The bag room has seen your bag and has it on the back of a tug racing to the plane. 7 minutes before departure the baggage compartments are closed and total weights are being submitted. Your bag has missed the airplane. TL. Doctor, please check in more than an hour before your flight if checking a bag, or else it might not make it on the plane. So I should check in late, so my bag might be delayed and I can claim on my insurance $200 for new clothes. All colors of Fruit Loops have the same flavor. Also true for Play-Doh. If you ever have a baseball bat and need to use it as a weapon, put a sock over it so if someone tries to disarm you, they just slide off the sock. Time out, time out, time out. I need to run home to get a sock first apparently. Please wait here. I'll be right back. If you carry a baseball bat in your vehicle for self-defense, also carry a baseball glove. Even if you don't play baseball, your lawyer will appreciate it. Till put a sock on my baseball bat and carry a baseball glove as well. The grey rock treatment is an incredibly useful method of dealing with narcissists and toxic people. If such a person is going at you verbally or behaviorally, screaming or posturing or trying to fight, become like a grey rock in a river. No reaction, don't answer, no movement, just sit calmly and let the stream of crazy flow past you. Bonus points if you can stare blankly. When people thrive on causing a reaction, they absolutely cannot compute when they get no reaction. If you're in physical danger, obviously react to keep yourself safe, but don't argue, explain, or defend verbally. You'll never change a narcissist's mind. It's just walking on a treadmill. Obviously not foolproof. Keep yourself safe first and foremost. Edit. OMG. Thanks for the awards. I'm very humbled. Edit #2. So many people have correctly pointed out that with people prone to physical violence, grey rocking can make them angry enough to escalate. Please evaluate your situation and the abusive party and use whatever tools are necessary to protect yourself. I once did this with a narcissist ex. Just sat blankly. After they calmed down, they sat facing a different direction. My nose was runny due to allergies, so I got the sniffles. Sniffle. Sniffle again. My ex turned around with a strange smile on their face. They thought I was crying. When they realized I was perfectly composed, they became bewildered. The most awful smile on their face for that one moment. Edit. Thank you for the hug. I'm still struggling with belief that I deserve hugs. Thanks, stranger. Made my day. Goodness out there. Deleted. I still get these and I'm 24. People often underestimate how big a billion actually is. An easy way to conceptualize it is to think of it in terms of seconds. 1 million seconds ago was 12 days ago. 1 billion seconds ago was 1987. What's the difference between 1 million and 1 billion? About a billion. On the timeline of human history, the ancient Egyptians lived as close to the ancient Romans as the ancient Romans lived to us today. The reason that they did not teach about the Aztec Empire for Oxford's first few hundred years was twofold. The Americas had not been discovered, and the Aztec Empire had not been founded. The tensing of leg muscles will deflate an unwanted erection. That has been a lifesaver on multiple occasions. A single spaghetti noodle is called a spaghetto. I thought a spaghetto was a place where poor Italians lived. The Outer Bridge Crossing is a bridge that connects Staten Island, New York to Perth Amboy, New Jersey. You probably think it was named that because it's the outermost bridge in New York City. Wrong. It's named after Eugenius Harvey Outerbridge. Wait, is Eugenius a real name? That's amazing. I'm calling my kid that now, so whenever he does something stupid I can go, gee, nice one Eugenius. If your older parents/grandparents are suddenly acting strange, get them checked for a UT. In older people, UTIs can cause a psychotic or delusional episode. What are the chances my parents have both had UTIs for 20 years? Caterpillars are physically unable to burp. Thank duck for that. Can you imagine? The human anus can stretch up to 7 inches before taking damage. A raccoon can squeeze into holes as tight as 4 inches, meaning you can take almost 2 full raccoons up your A. I've never understood this one. Just because my asshole can stretch enough for nearly 2 raccoons to fit through, doesn't mean there's enough room inside my rectum for said raccoons. Should I conduct a practical experiment to prove or disprove this hypothesis? A 30 minutes walk every day decreases the percent of you getting dementia. I keep meaning to do that but always forget. Even though you have a VPN, it doesn't necessarily keep you hidden. If skilled people wanted to find you, there are many things that can leak your IP that you have to isolate and fix, such as IPv6 leaks, DNS leaks, and WebRTC leaks. Also, every ad you add to your browser, it gives you a unique fingerprint that can lead back to you. You're not as secure as you think. Joke's on you. I used incognito mode. Newly registered nurse working on a hematology ward and learned that stem cells smell like sweet corn. Edit. Thank you all for the upvotes, award and heaps of useful info. mentioned by a few in the thread. I believe it's the preservative solution that they're kept in that smells and not the actual cells themselves. My colleague also mentioned this when I asked about the smell. But thank you all for a very interesting thread. PM_me_your_stem cells. The odds of you finding a gold nugget in a day are 0.000000784% on average. In my house, or in a place where gold nuggets live. Edit. Thank you for the award. Jimmy Carter has been alive for so long that his lifespan overlaps with the lifespan of someone who was alive at the same time as Thomas Jefferson. The 10th US president's grandkids are still alive. If you're in the woods and smell cucumbers, there is a copperhead snake nest nearby. Copperheads plant more cucumbers than all other species of snakes combined. Getting older is ducking awesome. 53 meters. I feel confident, secure, and healthier than I ever have in my entire life. I wish I could tell my 28 years old self to relax and enjoy the ride more. I'm 26 and already feel like I'm out of time. Haven't landed any jobs within my career field. Financially doing better cause of external reasons. COVID. Wondering if you had any advice to your younger self? There are 3 ways to refer to a gathering of geese. 1. If they're on the ground, it's a gaggle. 2. If they're flying, but not in a V-shaped formation, it's a skein. 3. If they're flying and in a V-shaped formation, it's a wedge. I just stick to sky raccoons. There are bronze statues of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Splinter at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, donated by their comics co-creator and university alum Peter Laird. Recent grad from UMA. Really wish someone had mentioned this before. Heat the back of a spoon gently and press it on a mosquito bite for a few seconds to greatly reduce itching. The heat breaks up the protein in the venom. Edit. As this got traction, you only need to warm it up under warm water, whilst a 3rd degree burn with a red hot spoon does, technically, work. I wouldn't advise it. PFFFT, I'm not heating the bottom of a spoon where I live, buddy. Armadillos give birth to 4 identical twins always. Yes, just to clarify a little, they bear either 4 or 8 pups. They either have 1 set of identical quads or 2 sets of identical quads. Kangaroo has 3 vaginas. But why? X% of Y is the same as Y% of X. So if you're struggling to find 26% of 50, maybe 50% of 26, 13 is much easier to do quickly. I have some words for my 6th grade math teacher. Wherever you are, be there. Someone wiser than me. Edit. Wow. Thanks for the love, everyone. I do try to apply this to my life and I feel like this has a great meaning. I've had this quoted to me by several respected people in my life. Not sure where it originated, but words to live by. Wherever you go, there you are. Yogi Berra. Peanuts are not nuts. They're legumes and they grow out of the ground like potatoes. Nuts and drupes typically grow on trees and or are the seeds of fruits. You can be allergic to tree nuts and not be to peanuts and vice versa. Peanuts and potatoes work pretty differently. Potatoes are tubers. They grow off of the root system. Peanuts are homologous to peas or beans. The plant grows flowers above ground like a normal legume, but then sends a shoot into the ground that develops into the peanut. On YouTube, you can directly click at the end of the video and then play replay. All ads will be removed. Edit. Thanks. It's my first reward. D. Ever since I found out about I'm kinda just waiting for it to end up getting fixed. I'm surprised it hasn't been yet. That a strong sense of doom is a medically recognized and majority common precursor to having a heart attack. Here I'm waiting for my heart attack for the 8th year. Edit. As someone mentioned, there is a difference between dread and doom. The concept of 3 square meals a day is a diet designed for people working physical labor in the early 1900s. Quality of diet and sticking to daily calorie limits is the only part that really matters. Otherwise, it really doesn't matter what time you eat. Although the 3 square meals model is indeed advantageous for day-long maintenance of energy levels. Basically, it's better to just eat when you're hungry than force yourself to eat when you should, so long as you're getting the proper nutrients, etc. The term square meal comes from the British Navy, where plates were square with raised edges to stop food spilling in rough seas. CTRL plus SHIFT plus ESC opened straight to the task manager instead of CTRL plus ALT plus DELETE and then manually selecting task manager. Chaz, I work in tech support and I just learned something new. Thank you, kind stranger. Don't buy French bulldogs. They're a fad breed that was sick to begin with, and so many people are being scammed by backyard breeders and puppy farms. They're depressingly broken. If you do buy one, even from an official breeder, be prepared for allergies, ocular bleeding from eye pressure, hip dysplasia, cheery eye, trachea collapse, twisted spine and dreadful breathing problems. They are expensive. Too many teen girls buy them and can't afford the allergy meds and food and just leave them to suffer. One visited the clinic last week, collapsed and died because of an extra long walk in the sunshines. Don't do it. Let this breed disappear and buy a dog with a nose, please. Edit. Read about their problems before buying one. Don't buy one. Get awesome pet insurance and treat every problem seriously and immediately. Wikipedia Reddit. Thank you kindly for the awards, dear people. Appreciated, but while imaginary internet points are lovely, a bit part of this is education. I want to look down the lens of the computer screen and talk to you. Yes, you. The person feeling lonely. I quarantine browsing Craigslist and Kijiji and Gumtree at puppies. Damn, those Frenchies and pugs are cute, right? You can't help what you like. I think fat cats are cute. Very wrong as someone who works in vet. But I don't encourage it. I educate people on the health benefits of a slender kitty, and my own cats are on strict diets. Don't feel bad for looking at pictures of playful pugs and Persians, but I ask you to consider carefully when you reach out with your wallet. 1. There are many brachycephalic breeds, but I called out Frenchies because right now they're the fad breed. One appeared in Modern Family and suddenly everyone wanted one. Just like Beverly Hills Chihuahua, in the 3 years there will be a glut of these in rescue groups and no one will want them because they're sick and expensive, and OMG, that kid's cartoon has a Yorkie in it. I really want one, mommy. 2. Because they are an ed breed right now, and because everyone in quarantine thinks now is the perfect time for a puppy, the unethical backyard breeders are churning them out on a factory line. I've participated in 20 cesareans this year and all of them is either a Frenchie or a bully breed. Another fad breed we have concerns about. 2 mothers died on the table and another at home from dystocia bred by randoms who delayed too long before coming in and were trying to make a quick buck. The other C-sections were harrowing close shaves that I dread. All the ethical breeders out there have their litters booked until September. They're also setting their prices high because they want those desperate for a particular breed to see rescue groups as a viable option. So chances are that if you're buying now, you're buying from a quick buck breeder, and those dodgy breeders are looking really good right now. The good ethical breeders are $4,000 and not available until next year. And rescues, I know, they do many marvelous things, but they are strict. I've known them to turn down wonderful owners for minuscule things. You can jump through all the hoops and still be turned down. Craigslist breeders don't ask questions and you get to cuddle your puppy. But these guys suck. Don't put money in their pockets. 3. People are telling me their Frenchies and pugs are healthy. I'm happy for you. But they're the lucky ones. For every healthy one born, you're condemning 4/5 to a life of scratching and wheezing. And they still have breathing problems. When you buy into the breed, you're saying yes, that cute face is more important than their comfort. What if your mother had a choice between breathing properly and blue eyes, and she picked blue eyes? I liken it to when you have a cold and both nostrils are clogged. Yes, you can enjoy life, smile and laugh, and enjoy food with your friends and play tennis. But it sucks. Aren't you relieved when that cold is gone? Imagine living your life like that. You have that choice when you pick your puppy. 4. The fact is, you won't love your puppy because they're a pug or a Frenchie. You'll love them because they're yours. They're your sweet comfort after a long day. When you have the choice between supporting a non-brachycephalic breed with a nose and a history of unethical breeding practices, would it really change your love for your pet? 5. If you have your heart set on a pug or Frenchie type dog, look into crossbreeds like Puggles, Beagle or Jack Russell Cross, or Boodles. Poodle, they're cute and they have a nose. They can breathe. At the end of the day, I just want dogs to breathe. Also Ragdoll Harley Jane has a wonderful post for those who are in the "you're wrong" side, spoken with far more thoughtfulness than I. Reddit. People get mad when I say certain breeds of dogs should go extinct. They think I'm advocating for malicious/sadistic slaughter or cinches, but I'm approaching from point of sympathy. There are too many breeds with debilitating diseases or deformities. They live to suffer, so some Karen can go, "Oh look, it's so ugly, it's cute." Ha ha ha. I just wish breeders didn't produce any more of these and let the breed die out over time. Even better, if everyone just adopted currently existing dogs. There's too many out there that need a good home. In the 16th century, Turkish women could initiate a divorce if their husbands didn't pour coffee for them. Is that some sort of antiquated euphemism? Canadians say sorry so much that an act passed in 2009 states that an apology would not be considered admission to guilt. The Apology Act. Such a great name. Most people replace their computer or run them into the ground when they get hot and slow. When in reality, new thermal compound and a solid state drive upgrade can fix both problems and increase its lifespan for about $35 to $50 and isn't incredibly hard to DIY in most cases. What else do you know about computers? Manhattan's layout is largely grid-based except for Broadway, which runs at a diagonal through the city and ignores the grid. This is because before the rest of Manhattan was developed and was mostly farmland and open fields, this is the route the cows took out to pasture, and its continued use over the years by people and cows meant it was simply left in as the city developed. Broadway exists BC cows edit. I've been informed this isn't entirely correct and that the path was originally forged by Native Americans. Unfortunately, this is just what I learned in a city planning course and thought was an interesting fact. Definitely didn't mean this maliciously. Meanwhile, in Boston they just plopped asphalt down on all of the existing cow paths and trails. As a result, the layout doesn't make any sense at all. Look people in the eye. Say please and thank you. Salespeople will go out of their way for you if you show appreciation. This goes for customer service in general and bank tellers. If you're screaming at us and are being a rick, we won't want to help you. If you're nice and understanding, we will genuinely do everything we can to help you. Never miss a chance to piss. This is always my go-to. I had a choir practice in a group of 200 plus people, and I sat right in the middle where there was no legroom to leave. Right before the rehearsal, I thought I should use the restroom. Then, I thought, nah, I'm good. 3.5 hours later, I'm sweating, nearly crying because I have to go so bad. I prayed so hard for my bladder to be sustained. I was finally able to waddle to a toilet and had a moment of pure ecstasy. Summary: never power up the chance to use the restroom. Removed. To add to this bit of truth, canine teeth, predator teeth in general, are evolutionarily designed to do more damage when prey struggle or try to rip their limb away. That's why the teeth are curved backwards. The worst thing you can do if you are bitten by a dog is pulling your arm away. It will use your own kinetic force to rip you open. It's completely counterintuitive, but your best option is not to struggle. Also on this note, domesticated dog breeds have a trait bred into them called bite inhibition. Many dogs will avoid biting humans hard enough to draw blood. The damage comes from you reflexively drawing away and ripping your own flesh on their teeth. I've worked in a couple pet stores and vet clinics. I've let aggressive dogs bite me, and when I don't struggle they release and sort of look indignant. Almost comical. Really what they are doing is giving you a nip to let you know they aren't happy for whatever reason. If you're cognizant enough, when a dog has hold of your forearm you can actually push your arm towards them to help your situation. They really don't like that. And just to add, this is not a 100% foolproof rule. Dogs can also be trained to ignore that bite inhibition. If the dog bites you and starts to thrash its head, you need to start punching its nose or going for the eyes. Every dog is different, but as a general rule it's worked for me. Domestication runs deep. Domestic cats don't meow to communicate with other cats. They use meows almost exclusively to communicate with humans. Edit: I should have specified that this applies to adult cats and not kittens. And I'm sure there are exceptions. Here's some information about it though. Aspka: my cat also meows at my dog though. It's 100 times better to break up when you're in a chiz relationship than trying to fix it up for the nth time. In Germany we have a saying that would translate to, it's better to have it end in terror instead of having terror without end. Spiders only bite when they feel cornered and or harried in their home. I highly advise against this because it's just dumb, but you could actually handle any spider you see roaming around without getting bit. This goes from the tiny jumping spider to the largest Goliath bird eater. Don't do it, they are itchy. The only exception to this is the Brazilian boner spider. Is the Brazilian boner spider the one that gives you a boner for, like, 4 hours? Seasonal allergies are almost entirely man-made ailments. When planting landscaping trees and bushes in the 50s and 60s, people didn't want to use female trees as they didn't want fruit to fall on streets and on people's cars, so they opted for almost entirely male trees, thus drastically increasing the pollen output. Minneapolis apparently didn't catch on to this trend because they planted a bunch of female ginkgo trees along 44th Street and they drop incredible amounts of fruit, all of which smell absolutely horrible. Iron can make your poop color turn black. If your poop is black, that could mean an internal bleed and you should get it checked out by a doctor. If you poop and there's a lot of bright red blood, it's likely a bleed from Uranus like hemorrhoids, but you should still probably get that checked out. Edit. Basically anything unusual and persistent should get run by a doctor. Eating 3 packs of salted seaweed sheets also turns your poo black. Sometimes it's best to let go of people. Letting go of a loved one can be hard, but sometimes it's the only way to survive a rock climbing catastrophe. Rohan Ganju. I work front desk at a hotel. I've seen this before, so I hope it's new to someone. Don't use sites like Expedia etc. If you book directly with the hotel, you can always call to make changes. If you need to cancel, you can avoid the 24-hour window fee by changing your reservation to a few days later. Then call back the next day to cancel. Third-party booking sites are not easy to change info. We cannot change the rate. If something needs to be fixed and you are looked down upon, and get whatever basic rooms are available. Not by me personally, but everyone around me. If you need to cancel, you can avoid the 24-hour window fee by changing your reservation to a few days later. I have heard this tip so many times and it's never worked for me. The hotels have always charged me a night's penalty for late changes. Even when I was in the hospital, I had to submit proof to get them to refund the fee. The airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow, European, is 11 m/s or 24 miles per hour. Right. Off you go then. Smells of particulate. This. When you smell anything, you are getting particles of that thing in your nose. That doesn't seem so bad to think of microscopic cake particles in your sinuses when you smell it baking, but when you smell a fart or the stench of a public bathroom. Microscopic poop particles in your sinuses. Nasty. The writing staff for Futurama were probably the most highly educated group of writers a cartoon has ever had. I read about this. I think there were 6 PhDs and like 2 masters, all in different kinds of math and science. When Elton John changed his name from Reginald Dwight, he also gave himself a middle name. His full name is Elton Hercules John. That was a very good name change. Reginald Dwight. Who names their kid that? The pain of discipline is temporary, the pain of regret is permanent. 9 months before Rosa Parks refused to move to the back of the bus, a 15-year-old called Claudette Colvin refused to give up her seat. 2 police officers arrested her. Colvin says that civil rights leaders didn't think a teen, especially one with a very dark complexion, would be a good poster child for their movement. Source for anyone interested. As I recall, her being pregnant was also a major factor. Vaccinations don't cause autism. Edit. I believe the reason many anti-vaxxers believe that they cause autism is because unvaccinated children don't live long enough to be tested for autism. Autism doesn't cause vaccinations either. Do not allow yourself to be mentally abused by anyone, especially from your own family. People can overlook how damaging it can be to your well-being. I don't care what they make you think you did to deserve it. You don't. Full stop. I needed this today. Thank you. If you don't have a toilet plunger and you have clogged it up, Pour in a bit of dish soap and some hot water, the hotter the better. Let stand for 15 minutes and flush. Learned this when immediately upon arriving at our hotel, my 8-year-old clogged up our toilet and I googled. Found this gem, realized it packed a tiny travel bottle of dish soap, warmed water up in the microwave and lo and behold, it worked. I still use it sometimes at home, when I don't wanna be grossed out by plunging. Yes, my child has a tendency to clog toilets. So there ya go. The real mystery here is why you brought dish soap on vacation. Never pour water into any acid, because it will splash out acid at 600 plus kelvins, 300 degrees Celsius. If you have to mix water and acid, always put water first then acid. This is because the reaction of acid dissolution is exothermic, meaning it will create a big quantity of heat, thus the splashing. But if you put a drop of acid in water, the reaction won't heat enough to splash. Hence in VC, sit and hapo, muatan to litapo. First the water, then the acid, or you'll have a killing. The distinctive smell, petrichor, of summer rain is caused by the molecule geosmin, a byproduct of Streptomyces bacteria. Ellie 5 please, I literally have no idea what you said. Admit when you're wrong. Say it out loud to the person you were incorrect to, and don't let your pride stop you. The amount of respect you instantly gain is shocking, no matter how much you like the person. This is especially important to do with children. They are humans also, and can be right about things. Modeling this when they are young helps them to learn to do it as well. When looking at renting a car, hotel room, etc., type in your company's name, discount code, vendor in Google. X, Wells Fargo Hertz discount code. You can get better rates on these items usually. Unethical. Type in a larger company's name. I'm having a girl. Found out early and still not sharing the news of the pregnancy yet, but it's a girl. Edit. Wow guys, thanks for all the well wishes and awards. Much love. Congratulations. Oh my. You watched until the end? That's fucking awesome dude. Thanks for watching.